Lost is another man's gain, and that's been the case with Edson Castillo and Sithebe. Edson Castillo arrived at Kaizer Chiefs, and that meant Sithebe had to sit on the bench. But when Mteto arrived, we saw Sithebe not even sitting on the bench anymore, but actually being on the stands, and that tells you that Kaizer Chiefs do not have him on their plans, and there is more to that. We'll talk about that later on in the video. But what is happening now is that according to Innocent Mkize, who works for Far Post, they've reported that Golden Arrows of all teams want to sign Siyethemba Sithebe. We're also going to talk about what Itumele Nkune says about Kaizer Chiefs fans, which is shocking, and also about himself. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakosi Football Club. After just one season as a scapegoat of Kaizer Chiefs, Siyethemba Sithebe is set to leave Kaizer Chiefs in the January transfer window, and it kind of makes sense because we see that already with the midfield that we have, people are complaining that Matt, Mteto and Castillo are similar players. If you add Sithebe into that mix, it's still the similar player to them. So we are saturated in that position, and it makes sense why Sithebe would want to leave and why another team would see that as an opportunity and want to get him. Now, first of all, before we talk about the other reason and what is actually happening, it's kind of a not so possible situation, because think of how much money he's earning at Kaizer Chiefs and how much money Golden Arrows can actually offer him. So the only way this thing is happening is if Arrows get Siyethemba Sithebe on a loan. Otherwise, he's going to be staying at Kaizer Chiefs unless Kaizer Chiefs once again do what they've been doing in recent seasons, which is release him. And I don't think they would release him in the January window, but they would do that actually in the June window. And I will say this, by the way, there is something that I had that I will not share here because that might hurt Siyethemba Sithebe. That there is something that is actually going on with him and Kaizer Chiefs that I cannot say here. So him being frozen out is not just about his performances, because you can't just move from being a regular starter each and every game and being completely dropped. Even though we know that there are players who have arrived and Omatlo, they've picked up their game and all of that stuff. But I would just have to say that there is something that I heard that is also going on, which is, by the way, without me even saying it, it's the case with most of the players that end up leaving Kaizer Chiefs, that it's not just what we see or what we hear, but there are other things that are happening behind the scenes that we are not told. I'm not going to say who's wrong in this issue, but there is something that is happening there. Also, can you please do something with your fingers? Just tap the subscribe button and tap the like button. But I will also ask you before we talk about Kune, do you think it's a good idea for Sithebe to leave Chiefs? Do you think Chiefs are losing out on letting him go, or do you think it's time because he's not playing in any case? Or some of you will say, Veli Nkomo, I don't think we're Nkomo. But anyways, let's move on now and talk about Itumele Nkune, who, when they do these press conferences, they tend to say things that do not make any sense. He said two things. The first one is that the Kaizer Chiefs fans are not the ones who are calling for coaches to be fired, who are complaining about the performance of the team. He's actually saying even the violent fans are not Kaizer Chiefs fans. I'm like, bro, that tells me, with all due respect, that you are delusional. You are not aware of what your fans are expecting. You are not aware of how disappointed your fans are. I'm the one who talks to about 50 to 100 fans each and every week, match day. And I tell you now, it's devoted Kaizer Chiefs fans who love that club, who are always so frustrated to watch the game even. Because they're like, I'm not coming back next week. They are angry and they are sad. It's not rival fans who are complaining like that. It's not rival fans who are talking about the coach must go. It's our fans who are talking about that, because they can see that what is happening there is problematic and there needs to be change. And if even the players have been told that no, it's not our fans who are toxic, it's not our fans who are, I don't even like the word toxic, but it's not our fans who are violent. It is our fans who are violent. It is them. They are violent because they are frustrated and they've gone through so much pain over the last 8 years. So let's not sugarcoat this and make it seem like, oh, Kaizer Chiefs fans are perfect. I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan and I'm not perfect. I even now, as we sit here, I don't want Kevin Johnson to coach Kaizer Chiefs because he disappointed me at the derby by fearing Pirates. And you can't coach Kaizer Chiefs if you're a coach who coaches with fear. Look at that. It's me saying I'm done with the coach after he's coached only 3 games. Guess what? I'm impatient, I'm irrational, I'm emotional. I don't care. It's a fact. It's a fact. You can't be a coward and coach Kaizer Chiefs. So if Ukune is going to try and lie to the media and say it's not us who are angry, well, you got another thing coming. Because after I post this video, I'm going to check the comment section. I will see that it's the Kaizer Chiefs fans who are angry. It's the Kaizer Chiefs fans who are tired of how things are run at that club. So you must just accept the fact that we as the fans are not happy with how things are done at Kaizer Chiefs. And we want to see some serious changes, because if there are no serious changes, then the episodes and the things that have been happening over and over again, things that are unacceptable, people throwing things at coaches, people calling players names, all those things are unacceptable. And I will never condone that. But the question is, what is the club doing to mitigate this whole entire issue? Because if you are going to continue saying that, oh no, it's not our fans, then you are not dealing with the problem. It's the same thing that I was saying with Bobby, because he didn't accept the responsibility that the management is also responsible, well, mainly responsible for everything that has been going on in the club for the past 8 years. So if the players are saying the same thing, that means they're also not aware that there is a problem and that they are frustrating the fans. So that's number one. Number two, Kune also talks about the fact that he is not retiring anytime soon, because if he performs well this season, he will come back next season. And a lot of people have been talking about this, that Kune needs to retire now, not because he's horrible and the worst keeper possible, but there are mistakes that are now like clear. We see that Kuna made a mistake there. Kuna should have done better. Even in the goal in the derby, Kuna should have done better, because he should have anticipated that that ball was going to be played across. He wasn't going to hit the target in that case. Kuna didn't anticipate that and go across to kind of block the ball. No, he didn't. But what he did, he stayed in his line and he wasn't able to save the ball. He was too late. What is happening? He's older now. It's okay to be old. We know you. You will remain our Mzansi number one. You will remain Spider Kid. You will remain one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best goalkeeper that Kaizer Chiefs has ever had. Your legacy will never change if you retire at the end of the season. Because we right now are complaining about the fact that Kaizer Chiefs does not have a good goalkeeper coach, because all the keepers that we have seem to struggle. So Kune actually retiring and becoming a goalkeeper coach is not necessarily an admission of defeat, but is actually an addition of value to the team, because Kune retires and then he becomes a goalkeeper coach. Guess what? We're going to have goalkeepers who will improve their distribution. We're going to have goalkeepers who will also get more information and knowledge and wisdom from him. So him retiring is not a bad thing at all. But forcing things and continuing to play even though you see that there are mistakes that you are making, what's going to end up happening is that fans are going to hate you. Fans are going to say umdala, una 40 and whatever, which I will not comment about, because only you know your real age. If it's 36 that is set in whatever, in the club's official what, you are 36. It's fine. But the last thing I want is for you to tarnish your legacy right now, and in the name of, oh, Buffon played until he was 44. But Buffon, even after 40, he was making those mistakes. But who was he playing for? He was no longer, he moved from playing for Juventus number one, and then he was a part-time keeper for PSG because Juventus did not renew his contract anymore. Then he ended up playing for where he started, because the keepers that they had were not as good as Buffon. But now we are talking about what Juventus were when they stopped playing Buffon is what Kaizer Chiefs are now. We are a big team, we're a big team, we're a big team, and we need something close to perfection from everyone who plays for the team, and we cannot afford to see more and more mistakes, especially from someone that we have known to not make any mistakes, because here you can see that everything about Kaizer Chiefs is not looking good. And we don't need another keeper or another player adding to those problems that we already have. And no, I'm not saying Kun is the problem, but I'm just saying there are things that we have seen that Kun has not done as what he would have done 10 years ago. But what do you think about what Kuna said and Sithebe leaving Kaizer Chiefs? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.